Alright guys, so today we're going to be messing with a little bit of the wiring on the MR2. I say a little bit, but and this stuff goes clear to the back of the garage all the way from up here. You can see it's plugged in, and at the ends, like all the ends, it's getting labeled and stuff like that. See all the sheets here. I have no idea how to read any of this, but that's why this is my dad's job, to mess with all the wiring. But yeah, he's gonna be messing with and creating a harness to run from the dash all the way to the motor, and then to the back of this little, into the trunk with this little relay fuse panel thing. It's got to land on there somehow. I'm not sure how, but I'll end up showing you guys because that will be all explained. Yeah, all these are labeled, all different kinds of stuff. As you can see, we have another car in the garage. The S is out in the other garage since it is done and ready for tune. We brought over this is an Integra. I'm not sure which year. It's one of my dad's friend's cars. This is a K-swapped car, turbo. What's going to be getting done to this is a built motor. The turbo kit needs to be modified. The manifold needs to be modified a little bit because you can see it has these hood spacers, and that's because the wastegate sat too high on the manifold, and the hood had to be pushed up just in order for everything to fit. So that's gonna be the next project over the next couple weeks or month or so. Is getting the motor built and getting in here and getting it sent off back to its owner. So yeah, I'll update you guys in a little bit on the wiring. So we got the wiring harness kind of laid across a couple things and hanging freely. This is the engine harness. This was what I showed in the first clip of everything being labeled. It's all cut back and made up into this sensor, which actually is going to be a kind of it's pretty cool how it's going to work. So the end that plugs into is going to come through right there through that hole from the inside of the car. And then that's going to plug in, and then when we disconnect that, so when we unplug this from it, basically the whole motor is disconnected from the car, and it would be ready to drop out along with disconnecting a couple fuel lines and stuff like that. But my dad actually explained this all to me quite a bit, so I want to share that with you guys. Let me see here. So this is just a disaster to understand. I can't even begin to explain that one. But so basically he told me that all he did was plug into the FieldTech website that like it was a K series, and it was like everything was being used, like it's gonna be turboed eventually and all that, and it basically made this little, because this connector right here, this little diagram is actually one of these two. So basically if you just follow the line, like it just shows you what that's gonna be. And I mean, that's explaining in simple terms. It's actually a super like complicated, but in simple terms, it's basically that. You just follow the line, and then you write it over here. So like 1 is injector number 1. You go over here, and then 1 goes over to injector 1. And you have to do that for all 26 on both connectors. So it's a bit of a process. And then those then go from here all the way to this one for the engine harness. If that makes sense. I didn't explain it clearly, but trying to just give you guys a little bit more understanding of what's going on around here. You can see that these bigger wires for stuff that uses more power, such as the fuel pump and the radiator fans and all that stuff. So that'll be its own little harness that just goes clear through the engine bay here. It'll go along with all this, and then it'll jump into right here and land on this thing somehow. I actually didn't show in the last clip, but this right here is the same thing. I don't know if you guys remember, but when when my car had that issue and I said that we're going to be putting on a breaker, this is basically what's going to be in my car. So basically all the power will come to here. This is the power wire from the battery, and then if this, see how it says reset, can't really see, hold on a second. See how it says reset right there? So basically if this is down, then the car has no power at all. So before shredding my wire and just cutting, like just losing all power, it'll trip this, so that way I'm not just straining on the side of the road, or in my case, I was in Scottsdale, but that's beside the point. That'll be in a future video. But yeah, I just want to show you guys kind of what's going on with all these papers. I know there's a bunch, and I don't even really understand them, but I'm going to try to learn along with you guys and explain to the best of my abilities everything that I'm being told and taught. And yeah, like I said, it's just so much. Don't realize how much wiring's in a car until you actually do it. I mean, like, look at all this stuff. It just so much everywhere. And it's all got a purpose. And if it's not all done perfectly correct the first time, then it's not gonna work how it's supposed to. And that's what's pretty scary about it. But yeah, we're gonna keep going. And like these are a separate, its own little harness that have to go to like 2-step button and front wheel speed. So that has to go to the front of the car, and some have to go to the back of the car, and some in the engine bay of the car. Yeah, it's crazy. It's definitely a lot, but I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna explain it the best that I can to my abilities, because I'm not the best teacher. And yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know and fill you in on what's going on. All right, so while my dad continues to mess with the MR2 harness and getting that all situated and wrapped up and ready to go in the car, I've decided to pull out the Integra and get the engine bay washed before we do go ahead and throw the K-Series in it, because I mean, this thing's just dirty, and it wouldn't be right if we throw a brand new, freshly assembled motor and nice and painted block and everything like that into a dirty engine bay. So I went ahead and decided that I'm gonna take it out and clean it and get it all nice and shiny and look much better. I went ahead and put a plastic bag over the fuel lines, just because, I mean, obvious reasons. Everything else should be fine. There's no big holes in the firewall, nothing concerning at least. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this. I'm gonna use some purple power right here, and then this brush, and then hit it with the pressure washer and see if I can get this thing nice and cleaned up. Okay, so I just finished up cleaning the bay. I mean, the sun is currently setting, so you can't really tell. But I'm gonna go ahead and put all the hose and stuff away and get this put back in the garage, and then give you guys a better look. But I mean, just already you can tell, see how much whiter all this is, and motor mounts are actually shiny now. But yeah, it's definitely a totally different look than it had before. But all right, I'm gonna go get everything put away and get this thing back in the garage and show you guys a little better view of what it looks like. All right, guys, so I got the Integra back in the garage. As you can see, everything is way cleaner, way whiter, and way shinier. I mean, you can see the Hasport mounts are almost as shiny as they could be. All the little plastics, the covers and stuff look pretty good. Even these things look new. I did realize that I missed quite a bit on the subframe. I couldn't really see because it was dark out, but I will be going back and hitting that with some degreaser again and just making it look a little better. Like I said, I ran out of daylight and couldn't really see. But while I was cleaning, my dad actually continued to work on the MR2. And you can see that the fuel tech connectors are right there, and then they run down through here. It's actually this wire right here. Goes back up here, all the way across. And this is that hole I was showing you a couple clips ago, where this will sit. Obviously it's got to be cut bigger, but that's all ran. And then all the All the wires that come from the fans and fuel pump and ignition are all right here. They come from, obviously, the fan and the fuel pump and ignition, but everything is back here. So just a mess. Everything's back here though, and needs to be put on either this one or this one. He was explaining how it works, but I'm not too confident, so I don't want to try to explain it and say it wrong. But yeah, they're all ran. I mean, I can show you, they're all ran. It'll be wrapped up obviously in that fabric tape, but it comes through right here, and then through here, and then right into the trunk where I just showed you. So that's gonna be, so basically all that's left is to make the engine harness, which will plug into that sensor, that plug I was just showing you that you can kind of see through that hole right there. And once the engine harness is made, theoretically this should be just needing fluids and it should be ready to start. I mean, if all the wiring's done correctly, there's no reason on why it shouldn't start. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for today's video. I did want to say I appreciate the support on the last video. I saw that it's almost at 1,000 views, which was pretty cool. I know it's not much, but definitely some good motivation on making me want to keep posting videos for you guys and just sharing what goes on around this garage. Oh, also another little update on the S. While I was at work today, my dad did have a little appointment thing with the tuner, and he adjusted the tune a little bit. Nothing crazy, so it's not making any boosts yet or any pulls or anything like that, but it is a step, it is a start. So hopefully by the end of the week, I'll be able to go on a ride along and we'll see some boost and hopefully maybe some flames out of the hood. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.